Hey everybody, how's it going? Superfiend here, and welcome back to Planet Coaster Whacky World. Now, we have been decorating this area over here, and it's going very well. And after the last episode, I was looking at this, and I'm okay with this little plaza thing right here. What I'm not okay with is I don't like how this queue, I'd like it to be centered along here. I think it'd look a lot better if it was centered. So we're probably going to work on this queue area right here and get this cleaned up, and then I'd like to start laying down a bunch of foliage, lay down some foliage over here, and get this area really dense and packed, and then the foliage will kind of like drop down in height, elevation as it approaches here, and then the rest of the foliage moving towards the front of the pirate area will be mostly flat and bushy, as opposed to tall with lots of trees. So that's what we're going to work on this episode. Before we do that, I did go ahead and do a little bit of work on the hidden temple off camera. So let's just show you what I did. It's nothing too crazy. I went ahead and I painted all the rocks very intensely, 100% intensity with this tropical rock. And then I used the alpine rock and lowered it down to like 10% with a big brush and blasted it all over. To get that variation in the rock. So the rock here, in the previous episode, there was still like a bunch of green patches and stuff up here, and those are all gone. Maybe I will go in and add a few like little green areas and just add some color or stuff, because it's not impossible for vegetation to take hold in formations like this, but maybe I should probably look at some reference pictures, you know, like Hawaii or something before I go and do something like that. And then along the base here and in these areas here, I painted the ground with the tropical grass because that's a good ground cover for the tropical setting. And I want to go ahead and put some low bushes and stuff over here. And we've got the grass coming up the rock wall just a little bit. Inside the monorail station, I painted it all in there and out here. And we'll put some bushes and stuff down here to get rid of these little jagged terrain edges, but that's work for another episode. And along this area, I painted the ground all out here with the grass as well, and over here, so this kind of resembles like rainforest or something like that. And I could go and let's see, not that one. Well, that might be better actually, and like blast in a little bit of rock that looks like that, and it kind of looks like a shoreline. And in fact, I kind of like that. I think I'm going to keep that. That looks pretty good. And what happens if we add some color? Okay, where'd the camera go? What happens if we get just a little hint of color in here? How does that look? That looks good too, doesn't it? I think that looks pretty good. These paint brushes here, they really sell the overall effect. If you are not using these when you terraform and create things, then I hate to say it, but you're doing it wrong. You really got to get these things out and play with them, because you can really make things look just 100% better, more believable. Okay, so let's see. We did all that. You'll notice that the coaster now has track supports. I went ahead, I turned them all on. I got mixed feelings about it. I mean, I like the fact that the track is now supported. I don't like all the extra clutter that it adds to the area. You know, it hides some of this well-crafted scenery and pillars and stuff, but it also makes like everything in here look much more dangerous, crammed, and precarious as you go flying through here. I mean, you come out of here and there's just all this clutter and bars and columns and things in the way. It really looks like you're going to get hurt on this thing. Of course you don't. It just looks like you will. And this is the only area right here where I'm kind of iffy about if we need to make any changes to this ride. I don't like how it comes so close together here. And in fact, maybe what we'll do is we'll just be patient. Let's see, those guys are going up the chain lift right now. Maybe we'll just pause it right here, and we'll just see, you know, how much clearance do they actually have? Because it is awfully close. A little too close for my liking. Okay, so here they come. See if we can get it. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't think anyone's arms are that long, right? I mean, they could probably reach up to about here above their head. I mean, and that's going to be like someone that's like 6 or 7 feet. So, yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. It looks really close when you're actually on the ride viewing the camera. Okay, so enough of that. You'll also notice that I gave the same leaf painting treatment in here. I painted it going down the wall and met the two down here. And then I went and I added a bunch of bushes all in this area. We got the scavola, the red flowery bush, and the red leafy bush, I think are these two right here. I like to place those into these areas just to get a little bit of color. I think the scavola and the one that looks like the scavola that's got the roots, I think those two work best for like the tropical overgrowth. And let's unselect the building so we can really kind of see how everything looks. And then I carried it up the steps and around here just a little bit. I didn't want to overdo it. I have an inclination to kind of like grow it up the pyramid and maybe add some over in here, but I don't want to do it quite yet. You know, at this point, this is so decorated that now I lean toward, my pendulum swings the other way, okay? When things aren't decorated, my pendulum swings toward, like, throw down a bunch of stuff and then take away what you don't need. And now that it's heavily decorated, my pendulum swings towards don't add anything else until you run out of things to do and you just feel like it needs to have it. And I'm talking like much later in the series because there's all of this. I want to fill all of this in, and I don't know if it's all going to be possible, but I'm going to try. So we got some vegetation, foliage in here, and there's one last little thing I did. I added a speaker in here. I talked about this a few episodes ago. And so now we got, let's see if we can hear it. There's drums. They're very quiet. I wish I could, right here, it's the drum group, and I wish I could like increase the volume, make it play at like 200% or something. I want it to be really loud, but I just don't see any way to do that. You know, maybe if I were to, you know what I could do is I could probably go into sandbox mode and set up one of these speakers and just capture it for a few minutes, and I could export it into Audacity and then really increase the volume. And are we able to use custom sounds in here? I think we can. I think if I drop something into the user folders, I think I could do that. So maybe I could increase the sound and get it really loud in here. It's just, you can barely notice it over the coaster tracks. So, and then I painted a little bit in here and a little bit up in here, although it already looked kind of good. So that's enough of that. That's what happened over there. Let's zoom out. Make sure we got the right camera mode. Okay. So this area is, let's see, let's unselect everything. Looking really cool. Look at that. And then off they go. And you can like get little glimpses of it. Like over here. You know, if you're getting off the kiddie ride and, you know, you went on, if you're a teenager and you went on the little kiddie ride because you got a little brother or sister, and as you're getting off, you look over here and you see them go like up and over that, you'll be like, yes, I want to go over there. So, and that goes back to something I said a long time ago about, I don't really plan my sight lines. Like I know some people when they're building their parks, they really plan it, but if you just make every area look good, you're going to get cool sight lines. It's just going to happen. You don't have to worry about it. All right, so the focus of this episode, let's do this Q station. Let's drop some foliage and some other stuff in here and get this thing looking overgrown. And then I also, oh yeah, one last thing. I terraformed this and I raised it up and I used the tropical rock and the alpine rock. And this is not its final form. This is just a rough idea because I'm going to build an entrance in here, a really cool looking entrance. It's going to be like 2 towers with a bridge and then like a pirate guard fort house over here with some tall towers on it. It's going to look pretty neat, I think, as they walk in. And then if you've been watching my time-lapse videos, I've been doing some time-lapse videos. I got these really cool small pirate shacks here. Let's see, these are the backs of them. So I've got all of those that I made. This is the same building with a tower just transposed into 4 different locations. I've got those. And I got some other ones in here. Okay, here we go. I've got all of these little shacks and buildings. And then I've pretty much got the same buildings, but with wood walls instead of brick walls. And I'm also going to make some other larger buildings. But I'm going to be taking all of those buildings and making like little pirate main streets. And, you know, like I'll throw some buildings in here on the corner. And maybe throw some along the shoreline and various areas. I'm kind of thinking that the monorail station, the entrance will kind of walk down a little street of pirate housing. You know, those little houses on both sides, and that'll look kind of cool. So that is what is up and coming in this series. Those are the ideas that I have, and I think they're pretty good ideas. I'd love to hear what you think about them, if you want to leave a comment or anything like that. And so we're going to need to remove some stuff here. And I think the easiest way to get this lined up correctly is if we take this piece, duplicate it, and we switch this to a 2-meter grid. Okay, yes, there we go. Okay, and you know, I think I need to lift these up off the ground ever so slightly. So just a little bit. Okay, so the I'm going to change it to the 0.25. And the reason I'm going to lift them off the ground ever so slightly is because, okay, so now because I'm thinking that we're going to have like a walkway that goes up to this thing. All right, let's see. Let's get rid of that one. Yes, okay. And so I'm thinking there's going to be like a bit of a walkway here that has some little pillars and things, and the queue is going to go straight up the middle of it. And let's get our paths, and we want our queue. This was the this one, whatever it is. We'll select the grid, and we're going to go ahead and do the. Okay, I got to wait. Okay, nope. Cancel. Okay, I don't actually need that one. Paths, select grid. Okay. All right, now it's being a butthead. Okay, come on. Okay, now it might be easier to select the path. Sometimes it's so difficult to do things. There we go. That's the one I want, except now, now it's not a queue. Okay, we want the queue. This one. There we go. Okay, that is what I wanted. Easier said than done sometimes in this game. Okay, paths. Now, queue. Okay, now this is kind of tricky. This will be kind of tricky because... well, it doesn't line up nicely with this one, that's why. But ew, that was hideous. Okay. Okay, I guess that'll work. You know, I guess that's okay. Let's go back to the paths and queue. Have a grid selected. Okay, so let's... Great, I got rid of the pieces. Oh, boy. Okay, select grid. That one, square. Okay, and then let's see. And we're going to keep the curve there. I think we're going to keep the curve. Okay, let's deselect the grid. Ew, what the heck? It almost looks like it bananas. It looks warped. Okay, it's certainly not straight. Okay, that's for certain. Okay, so let's all right, so how are we gonna have to do this? And what does this one do? This one ends up underneath it. Okay, whoops. So let's go into this building, edit, and let's see. We'll just duplicate this. And then we'll move them. We'll move them over here because that'll make it easier to select with the grid. Okay, now we'll deselect. And what kind of silliness do we end up with here? Yeah. Bananas. I don't want it to banana. Okay. Ho hum diddly ho. Let's see. All right. Forget about the stuff over here. Oh, good grief. Let's see. Is that what I want? Is that better? Or is that worse? Well, I'm kind of okay with it. I'm kind of okay with it. I'm kind of not. Let's see. Let's go back to paths. Q. Let's just evaporate this whole thing, right? Okay, for a second there it connected. Eee, it looks ugly. Yeah, I don't know. It bananas again. It goes up and then it goes down. I don't like that. Okay, you know what? Let's turn off the angle snap. Maybe we'll get a little bit more flexibility over this curve if we do that. Okay, you know what? That's as nice as it's going to get drawn for us, so we're sticking with it. Okay, I'm not going to fiddle with this thing anymore. Okay, and we're going to end up putting other scenery and stuff in there anyway, so. Okay, there we go. All right, so we got that, and now we need to extend this path. This queue. Let's see if I hold down control. What is it doing? Let's get the angle snap back on. There we go. Okay. We'll take that. This is actually a little bit better than what it was before because last time it kind of came out of here. And this time it kind of is centered more on this plaza. So more people can come in from different directions and clutter this area up if the queue is too long. So I like the way that looks better. And now that we've done that, and it's not going to go up here and interact with all that. I thought about like weaving it in and out up here, and that would be cool. But for the kids ride, I mean, this thing is like never ever going to get this full. I don't think it'll get that full. And if it does happen to get that full, then what we'll do is we'll probably break the queue entrance off this way and like just zigzag in this area. We got plenty of space in here to zigzag around. And then it can just, we can keep this right here. Okay, so now that we got that straightened out, let's go over here and grab some of our, I gotta be careful, foliage bushes, foliage Lego pieces. And let's just start filling this thing in, right? Okay, and let's see. So that is about the ground right there. And let's see. Okay, now this one is one of the ones with the floating trees, okay? So we got to make sure that we get one that's a little bit less tall right in here. And we got to cover up those trees, right? Let's, angle snap is off. So let's see, I think it looks kind of better like this. There we go. And does that help to cover up that one tree? Not so much. Let's just take this one and just do that there. That fixes it, right? So that looks nice and tall. And let's see. I think this tree, because we want to have a nice view into that area. So, oops, I canceled it. I didn't mean to cancel it. Okay, so that kind of gives us that nice little view into there. And now let's go ahead, get out of the edit building, and we'll duplicate this thing. And let's see. I think this kind of looks like the way it needs to go. Okay, and is it poking through in here? No. Well, a little bit right there. We'll let that go. Okay, we're not gonna worry about that. And let's duplicate this thing. And we'll just move it over to here, and then we'll spin it. Oh, let's say this way. Okay. And of course, neither of these are on the ground. Okay. And you know, look how quickly and easily this starts to come together when you kind of use pieces like this. And you could create as many as you needed to for as much variation as you felt was necessary. I limited it to just these 4, and I want to see how far I can take this with just those 4, right? So let's see. And I can tell right now that it's not on the ground the way that it should be. Now this is a little tricky, so I want to put this one in here, but before I do, I want to get rid of the tall pieces. So let's get rid of those. This one's probably too tall. Okay, and then let's drop it to the ground where it needs to be. Okay, about there. And are any of these axes better for moving it the way I want? Okay, and so we kind of got a cool view in there. It's a little bit too tall. We're just gonna grab these and individually. Actually, you know what? This one I think we can just pop it out of there, get rid of it. And this guy right here. Nope. Nope. This tree. Did I get it? I got it. Okay, we'll lower that one. And this is tricky. I want to get this bush right here. Of course, I'm getting everything but. There it is. And then maybe this one can lower. And we can drop this one down a little bit. Okay, look at that. That looks so cool. So as the people walk through here, they get a little glimpse through the bushes there of what's going on. And let's go ahead and let's do this one. Drop it down. These two are good. And let's, okay, so we're going to take this, no, not this one. We'll use, let's see, that was this one. Let's grab this one. And we need to put it in here. And again, I need to get rid of the pieces that are much too tall. So those are too tall. And let's see, this one, not that one. Okay, let's see, oh boy. Okay, those are all a little bit too tall, so let's just squash them down. And let's move this thing. All right. Now let's see. Okay. And let's get these two. Get rid of those. And then we could take this and shuffle it that way. Get rid of those ones. And we can take this one and kind of... Oh, we'll just sink it down, right? Sink it down and push it back. And then we've got this guy right here. There's another really leafy one that I'm having doubts that I'm going to be able to select it. Maybe if we move that out of the way. There it is. And we'll rotate this. Let's see. Now I'll just put it over there with those ones. Okay, and then this one can come on back. And this guy here. Okay, so how does this end up looking, right? Really cool. Really cool, right? That looks cool. And let's see, we need to get some of these over here, so let's just duplicate this thing. And let's see. It's too wide. So we're gonna set it right there, and then we're gonna edit it. If I can select it, edit. Get rid of that. I'll get rid of that. Get rid of that, I think. And okay. And we're gonna see, turn it this way. There we go. And we'll move this one off the path, and we'll move this one just kind of right there and straighten it out. And then we'll jump over into this one and turn this so that's a little bit straighter with the path. There we go. Okay, so these both look really good. I like the way these areas look. And you turn around here and you check this one out. Yeah. Nice and tropical and overgrown, except we got a floating tree. Okay, and we'll just look for any more obvious floating trees, right? Okay, we got a couple right here, but we may be able to fix them with scenery around the edges. And you know, this one's kind of obvious when you look from up here, but well, yeah, I have to at least get the roots into the other bushes. Okay. There we go. That looks good. And now let's go ahead and we'll grab this one. Okay, so we got floating trees over here. Floating trees. So if we turn this like this way. And we'll duplicate that again. And we'll duplicate it again. Now the scenery is really starting to pile up in here, right? And it could get to the point to where it's too much. You got to be careful. Select all three of these, advance move, and we'll lower them all to the ground at once. And let's see, any more problems with floating trees? Not as much, right? Not as much. Can't really notice now. And what's our scenery count starting to look like in this area? Let's just grab all of this. That's the monorail. Okay, so 5,000, almost 6,000 pieces. That's a lot. And okay, now Mr. Rocktopus. I think we're going to have to move this thing. Okay, so I think where's the station here? Okay, so this guy, we're going to turn the operator so that he's over there on the left. And so I think what we're going to do is the Rocktopus queue is maybe going to come in like right here. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, there's the queue. And the exit is going to be on this side so that the mechanic can get to the door. And let's go ahead and do connect entrance to path. What did we do over here? Okay, we did the gravel over there. So this time we'll do the gravel. I think this is it. Kind of looks like it. Let's turn the angle snap off. Okay. I don't know, I want Z. Okay, so let's see. The Rocktopus is not the kind of ride where a lot of people want to go on it in the first place, so I'm not concerned about like a crowd forming over here. Plus, anyways, when we draw little connector paths between these two wide paths, there's going to be plenty of space in here for people to walk. And then what we'll do is we'll come in here and we'll decorate this queue, make it kind of, well, it's going to look cool. Let's just put it that way. It's going to look cool. And let's see. We'll put some tents and the tiki torches, all that kind of stuff. And, okay, so let's turn this. Let's see, I think... and what happens on the inside, you know, it kind of pokes through, but I'm kind of okay with it, actually. Kind of okay with it poking through. What's it look like? Okay, so now what's it look like if we just take away these ones that are poking through? Yeah, we got one more in here. This one's gonna be hard to get, isn't it? Got it. Okay, the little ones up top in the corner, I don't care. I guess that looks okay, right? That looks okay. Let's duplicate this. Okay, and then can we duplicate it again and smoosh it into our Rocktopus? We can. I'm just going to duplicate all the way across here like that, and then we'll get our multi-select, and we'll lower them all down at once. All right. And then we got to come in here and we got to clean these up where they are intersecting with the ride. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we'll just do the advanced move. Okay, so this to me is less time consuming than trying to do all of it at once or each piece individually. Although sometimes this gets a little fidgety too. Let's see, we kind of want these ones like wedged up against the side here, don't we? I think we do. Let's lower the tree way down. Okay, now we got to be mindful of what's going on the other side here. And so far, so good, right? So far, so good. Okay, there's that one that I wanted. And let's just rotate these two so that they're this way, and then push them out here. Now, I actually kind of like that the roots and stuff are going in here. But, now let's see, and I think we're going to have to lower this one. Okay. And let's jump over to this building, and let's see. Get all three of these tall palms that they're three individual palms, but they kind of look like one tall one the way I connected them. Okay, and then let's see. Let's grab those. Okay, we're going to rotate these ones so that they kind of line up with the ride, and then just scooch them out this way. That would be the right exit, wouldn't it? Yeah, okay. So that is not going to work long term. And we got another tall one back here. Let's see if I can get it. Is this it? Yeah. And this one here. And this tall one. Now let's see. Are we poking through yet? Nope. Let's just delete that one, right? And then all of this. Let's see. We'll advanced move it over to here. Get rid of that one. Let's see. Just get rid of those. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. This whole building right here looks like it could go down a little lower, doesn't it? That means this one probably can too. Whoa. This one ended up way too low. Okay. And just get rid of that. Drop this down. Duplicate. And now we get this little palm. Okay, and let's do these ones. And then what I want to do is I want to run the octopus, and I want to see if it collides with any of the leaves and the branches and stuff, because I think it might. We might be running that risk. Okay, let's see. Let's test her out. And let's get it going. Does it not lift up and down? I can't remember. It doesn't look like these arms. Okay, there they go. So, you know, they're a little close. They're a little close. Where's the music for this thing? Oh, good grief. Whew, okay. So, they're a little close, but they're not hitting anything. So, I think we're actually okay. Alright, let's stop it, because I don't want to have to shout over the ride. So, I think it's okay. We're going to customize... Where is it? I don't want to move the exit. Okay, we're not going to move the exit. And let's just take this. Okay. Yeah. I think we have to move all three of those. We'll just set them over here. Okay. And let's just draw the exit path. And what did we use over here? Did we use the same? No, we used these ones, sandstone. And so let's just do sandstone here. Just see what we end up with. Okay. And I've said it before, but if you've missed out, if you hold down the Z when you're joining the paths up, you can get these little like T's or L's or offshoots or whatever they are. Okay, so there's our octopus. We've kind of got this area better situated. This is looking pretty cool over here. I want to go back and add some bushes and things in here, and I want to get some bushes, or maybe just some plants in here. I'm not really certain exactly how I want it to look. But this whole area, I think, is really coming alive. We got a nice viewpoint right here. Look at that. You got the ride going up the skulls. You can kind of see it from right here, as long as the monorail's not in your way. And then from this path, you got a real cool view into the Lost Gardens, and you get the same view from down here. And none of the trees are blocking it. And as we come around the corner here, We're going to have a nice view right here of this ride swinging back and forth, the galleon and the lagoon. And then we're going to have these cool towers that are way back here. And this will start to come alive and look better too as the series goes on. And then it's kind of silly. I spent so many episodes like waiting for the research for this thing, and then we put the station down, and I've done absolutely nothing with it. And that's fine. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to it eventually. And what I think it's going to do is I kind of think they're going to come out of the station and like drop down, and then they're going to come up a chain lift. It's going to come out here. There's going to be some dense foliage, jungle brush up here. They'll go through it, and then they'll do their drop, and they'll swoop down in here. And I want to put like a little island with some of the treasure chests and nice looking vases and urns on it, the stuff that looks like it would be treasure, and kind of have it flying around in here, go by the Kraken at some point. And then I want it to come out of like a tunnel here and somehow like go over the monorail station and then dive into the ground and come out of the lagoon for the return back to the coaster station. I have no idea how that's all going to work, but that's what I think I'm going to do with it. That's what I'm going to try to do with it. But we're going to get this area kind of situated first because it's much easier. I mean, we just throw some tiki torches and some tents and a few decorations in here, and the Rocktopus is basically done. We get some foliage in here, and this is basically done. And then I want to build the entrance, and I want to use the houses and stuff to kind of get a little main street going here. And I want to decorate this up and make it kind of look like a pirate fish market. And of course, we got to leave room for the shops and stuff like that we're going to need when we finally open this. And then I'm thinking what I'm going to end up doing over here is we're going to drop this down and just kind of put it on a small hill. And the exit for the Hellion Ring will come out here and walk by this, and the two exits will join up, and the entrance for this will kind of maybe be over here, and they'll just walk through like a short little jungle path, kind of like the Rocktopus, to get on this thing. And that's the plans for the future. I don't know how many episodes this is all going to take, and I hope you're enjoying the series. We'll see you next time, and have yourself a good afternoon.